In the selection of a theme, many factors must be considered. Does it capture the interest of the audience? Does it hold that interest? Above all, does it establish confidence in what we're saying? A theme has been selected. The theme is needless death. First, an artist prepares a dramatic piece of art, and the theme comes to life with a grief-stricken mother, visualizing the pointless death of her soldier son. Two versions are prepared, one for the Koreans and one for the Chinese. By using overlays, special care can be given to the varying details of the soldier's gun and uniform. Even a small inaccuracy may create a wave of ridicule among the enemy and destroy the effect of months of previous propaganda. The text that goes with the picture is first written in English. With the help of an interpreter, it is then translated into both Korean and Chinese. Short, punchy words make their point quickly and fan the soldier's feeling of despair. He is fed the thought that he will soon join the swelling victims of needless death. The final draft is then reviewed, carefully checked for errors. In many Red units, offenders found reading UN literature have been shot by the firing squad, while their comrades were forced to look on. And finally, the leaflet is approved for production. One index of the leaflet's effectiveness is the elaborate effort the enemy spends in guarding against it. As a weapon of psychological warfare, the leaflet is invaluable. Chinese and Korean soldiers are especially impressed by realistic drawings and photographs. Moreover, the leaflet is far more permanent than the spoken word, for it can be read and reread. After copy and artwork are okayed, they are photographed and processed. Plates are then mounted on the presses. Although they are warned by their leaders that UN leaflets are impregnated with germs and will rot their hands or make them blind, many prisoners of war have been found to carry them secretly, and the size of the leaflet is such that it can be easily concealed. Leaflets are then packed in rolls so that the maximum number can be carried in one load. They are then placed into bombs. Normally, each bomb accommodates about 22,500 leaflets of lightweight paper. Bombs are systematically loaded into trucks and transported to the airfield. This B-29 is about to range deep into enemy territory. It is a fighting craft, equipped to take care of itself against enemy attack. We can only estimate roughly how many airmail copies of needless death will reach the individual enemy. Nevertheless, overall, we do know that leaflets will scatter the seeds of dissension, unrest, and possibly surrender. In Korea, tactical propaganda is handled by the SIWAR section, G3, 8th Army. Operating under this section in Seoul is the 1st Loudspeaker and Leaflet Company. A large share of intelligence is gained by interrogating prisoners of war, done by G2 teams. Special SIWAR interrogation teams conduct closer examinations of the prisoners and poll them. Often they speak freely and offer important facts about the conditions they left behind them in their own front lines. This information, when evaluated and interpreted, indicates how effective our past propaganda effort has been. It also supplies the basis for further speaker broadcast and leaflet themes. Since themes are often individually tailored to meet an existing frontline situation, the L&L company must meet that situation before it changes. So that our propaganda can take advantage of the psychology of the hour, tactical leaflets are run off on the company's own presses, which can operate in buildings or in vans. Leaflets are disseminated in two ways. First, by air, as we have seen, and second, by artillery shells. Specifically adapted, these 105 millimeter shells can pinpoint selected targets and reach troops in the most localized areas. Leaflet shells can also strike at combat zones in which aircraft would be impractical. In addition, these message-filled missiles are able to penetrate densely wooded areas. Leaflets are printed a color in vivid contrast to the terrain they are aimed at. They are best fired at twilight, since it is still light enough for the enemy to see where they land, yet dark enough to cover him while he gathers up the literature, which is coming to him Air Express. The loudspeaker platoon of the Loudspeaker and Leaflet Company operates directly with the frontline unit. These loudspeakers are used to get across timely messages to the enemy in close proximity. Furthermore, illiteracy is prevalent among the Chinese and North Koreans, so the spoken message makes our meaning thoroughly clear. When more mobility is desired, loudspeakers are mounted on tanks. The physical force of the tank, coupled with the psychological force of the loudspeaker, is an ideal example of SIWAR's most effective performance. A similar combination is the airborne loudspeaker. A tactical aircraft, it can reach enemy territory inaccessible to ground loudspeakers. And it can cover both civilian control and guerrilla areas. Because of their nostalgia value, the voices of Korean and Chinese women are often used. Some enemy soldiers feel that if a woman can fly over their positions, the communists must be losing the war. In the time that lies ahead, still newer methods of propaganda are growing out of research and experimentation. For SIWAR and its media of expression are dynamic, always learning surer ways of breaking the spirit of the enemy. These are the SIWAR soldiers. They alone do not win victories in combat, but they have a potent weapon which they use to the utmost to support the infantryman, the gunner, and the tanker in inflicting decisive defeat upon the enemy.